All right, let's go ahead and check. Looks like I'm live. Let's go ahead and check my sound. Make sure there is sound of my sound of my sound. Let's see here. Come on, slowest internet on the planet. What do we got here? Let's see. Get a shareable link. Control V. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. And looks like my sound is good. Right. Let's pop that chat out. Okay, that's a good sign. And then let's get our hands on that stuff. Oh, we got somebody in there. Hey, pop in the chat and let me know how my sound is. It should be okay. At least I hope it is anyway. Oof. Okay. Select live streams. Done. And let's see here. Show more. Oh man, I need more. I need more stuffs. All right, who we got there? Emily Hopkins, sound is good. Hey, thank you, Emily. I don't think I've seen you in the stream before. Good to see you. Let's see here. I'm in the process of tuning the tunage. Peter, hey, what's going on, man? Let's see here. Got some pretty good topics to talk about tonight. Some of it YouTube related, some of it mostly just all prepper related stuff, which is always for the best. All right, let's go ahead and save that. All right, and then video details, let's close that. We're good there. These are all good signs. Yeah, they are. Okay. I'm going to close that. Let's see there. All right, looks like we still have one person in there, and that was a few minutes early, so we'll give time for a few more people to pop in before we get started. Let's see here, and there's my chat. Could be a touch louder. Let me see what I got here. Unfortunately, it's on my phone, bro. So let me see if I can push the button over here. Or I could just speak up. What's up, Survival Buzz? Dragon. It's my volume. Gotcha, man. Gotcha. I'm about to say, I haven't changed anything, and the phone is normally pretty picky. If you just plug what into it, there's no real settings or volume adjustments on the phone when you use your phone. It's absolutely amazing. When I did that video on survival stress yesterday, the internet here is so bad. I literally plugged my phone into my computer, put the video on my computer, and then uploaded it. Put the video from my computer to my phone, and then uploaded it through my phone. And it was like that. It was like 10 seconds to upload the damn thing. Oh, that's so good. Nothing like Guinness out of a mason jar. It's the only glass I could find in the place. But I do love me some Guinness. All right, let's see here. Oh, Stranger. Hey, I didn't see you there, bro. Stranger. Okay, well, it looks like we got a handful of people in here. So I kind of wanted to start it out. What I plan on doing is talking about some YouTube related stuff. As you guys know, I'm a retired Marine, and I just kind of sit around and play around on YouTube all day when I'm not doing getting ready for fires or just doing the basics around the location that I'm at. I don't have any chickens to mend right now. They're at a different location. But I wanted to give, so I watched, I don't know if you guys saw it, but I watched, hey Paul, what's going on, man? I was watching the Unapologetic Prepper today. He put a video out today that he premiered. And it was basically about, someone had commented saying, don't age restrict your videos. And, his response was basically, it's my channel. I'm going to do what I want. And here's why. He was very descriptive and said exactly why he age restricts his videos. I do the same thing. Two real reasons, two very simple reasons. One, somebody will know, others won't. The first is you get to say whatever you want. If you decide if a word blurts out of your mouth and a child heard it and they were on and you weren't age restricted, well, then somebody can make a complaint and then they can actually give you a strike for that. And so we want to control that. That's why all my stuff is age restricted. The other thing is that if you are age restricted and the child heard something, then they complained and it'd be like, whatever. We don't care. It's age restricted. You shouldn't have allowed your child to listen to that, So Peter says, game on. I was actually dealing with somebody very similar literally 10 minutes ago, which I'll tell you about here shortly. But let's see. And it kind of, I guess some people saw me in there and they started messaging me a little bit. And it was actually pretty good. But we actually had some followers come back from that. And I wanted to give a shout out to FC Preparedness. The basically FC's preparedness is he does he says my philosophy too, but I have videos that get 0 views and I just keep putting them out. Hope you and your family had a great Thanksgiving. Cheers. So basically, he doesn't give a shit. He's just he's going to make videos and throw them out there, and that's exactly what he should be doing, which is really the focus of the Unapologetic Prepper. He doesn't care if people are trying to make money. He just doesn't want to be that person, and he wants to be able to say what he wants to do, what he wants to say. I also wanted to give another shout out to another channel called The Milkmaid. And she wrote, this is why I think we get along. I have 0 issues with people making money via their channel, but feel it sometimes does interfere with meaty content. I use YouTube for 2 reasons, info and camaraderie. And this is exactly why we get along with these people so well, because it's exactly what we're doing. My content is a creative outlet, and I have no interest in growing or monetizing, only learning, sharing, and potentially teaching for whatever little that is worth, and goofing off a bit when I want to. Yeah, I mean, just solid channel. If you guys just look her up, The Milkmaid. And she's doing pretty good as far as subscribership goes. The, what is it? And then I watched a video today, and I'm trying to remember who it was from. But he was basically making he was talking about how the Glock is not the best not the best handgun in the world. He had it all laid out, and he was speaking intelligently, and then he started saying things like, I'll concede, I can't deny that this $500 Gen 3 will get it done. Okay, that's really good. Popularity doesn't make something good, and my reply is, actually the popularity is the result of a product being good. And then let's see, it works every time right out of the box. Yes, please. Easiest to maintain. He's literally best product support, and he's literally trying to say that, get out of there. He's literally trying to say that the Glock isn't the best handgun in the world anymore, while simultaneously saying that it's the best handgun in the world. I really don't know. I stopped carrying some years back. So I couldn't tell you if there's anything about there, but my Glock is just fine. My Glocks, They fly together. Glock, glock, glock. They do just fine. They do all of those things. They get it done. They work every time out of the box. They're the easiest thing to maintain, and they have great product support. So I have no complaints whatsoever. Glock is like, Paul says, Glock is like the Toyota of guns, very reliable. My wife is a Glock seller. Yeah, I mean, I absolutely love the Glock. I've used them in some very, very bad places. Here's the thing about it. It's got to work every time. No questions asked. This is like, what do you spend your money on? You know, I don't buy a lot of guns. I have a few, but I don't go out and like, oh, I really gotta have this thing. Oh, I want to sleep with it tonight. Oh, it's so shiny and feels so ergonomic. No, it's got to work every single time. That's it. That's the only requirement of a handgun. Let's see. Inherit the Earth. I don't think I've ever seen you before. Some are all panhandling and no content. Preppers talking prepper advice for non-prepper brothers. Me. Oh, bothers me. I'm sorry. And for non-preppers. Yeah, exactly. You know, that's, I wanted to get the, I end up talking bad about a YouTuber pretty much every single time I stream. And the reason is because I watch so much YouTube and I see through so much of their bullshit. I'm just going to call you Earth. Because you're not supposed to write an entire sentence as a name, bro. Otherwise, it's not catchy. But anyway, I don't proclaim to be the best guy, YouTuber on the planet. My subscription rate is under 1,000. I mean, I would like to see it higher. I would like to see a lot of different things. But the point is that you are who you are, and you're either full of crap or you're not. And there's either things that you can talk about or you can't talk about them, or you aren't able to talk about them because you're full of shit. And you're right. A lot of them are panhandling. All the bigs, you know, that have 10,000 or more subscribers are normally panhandling in some way, shape, or forms. Some are worse than others. You know, for instance, Pinball. Pinball doesn't panhandle at all. He's got I think he's got he does a lot of work for charity, and he puts money that way. He's retired military, so he's got a pension. He does work as a recruiter. I mean, he doesn't need the money, but he does have the ability for you to give him money for whatever reason, but he never talks about it. Good or bad, doesn't matter. So he's not a panhandler, even though he's got a buttload of subscribers. Now, there are other guys out there that are literally just, this is the greatest thing ever, and it's going to save your life. There's a link down there, and it starts with Amazon dot blah, 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 blah. So, and those guys are the ones that are clearly looking for their 13% of a sale. You know, hello to, hey, Jay, I don't think I've ever seen you before. Welcome to the channel. Hello from Middletown, Ohio. Are you close to that Toledo factory that blew up, Jay? The gasoline refinery plant? Let's see. But yeah, there's a lot of them that actually do that. They panhandle. Now I'm honest with people. I would love to get one step closer to getting off YouTube, and the way I plan on doing that is to push everybody I can over to my Patreon. And yeah, I'm going to make $17 a month, but it's easier for me to make content, more higher quality content for one platform than it is to try and spread it out, which is why you guys have seen by my last videos, I've stopped actually like making videos on YouTube, you know? So I'll do the live streams on YouTube because I really do enjoy it. And it's also the only platform that I can actually live stream on that I can get on quickly, that the quality is high, that the audience is there. And as soon as I can figure out a way to get that same audience onto a different platform, hey, but for right now, my plan is to get as many people into my Patreon as possible and start providing unpublished YouTube videos. So they still get to use YouTube. They still get to get an account if they want one, but they just go through the Patreon, and then they start getting all of the quality stuff. And I've already put about 2 weeks worth of work into last week. There's already content in there just waiting for people. And it's actually really high level, high quality content because I could actually sit down and focus on it. Very similar to the last video that I did on survival stress. It's that kind of stuff. And it's not all like, that one was really very detailed and scientific. And I was just trying to show you guys the kind of stuff that you're going to be able to get to, that because I'm going to have time to do it. Now, if we can get there, we can get there. And if I can get $17 a month, that's great. But I'm just tired of having to pick my words so carefully because we're being monitored by the YouTube gods, and they basically anything that would go against the First Amendment they're not happy with. Let me check the chat here. Thanks for stumbling across. Just stumbled across you. No. Okay, cool. Let's see. Well, I'll give you the solid line, James. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. You might actually like what we're doing here. We do. And if not, you can unsubscribe or whatever, man. I just hope you enjoy your time with us. Peter says, yes, you're honest. I try to be. The Survival Buzz, it's a lot less restrictive than YouTube. Very true. Very true. Let's see. Yeah, and the fact that I can, because the content isn't going to be based on like a subscriber count or anything, the content, it allows me to focus on creating more detailed, more high resolution stuff. It's just higher quality content. YouTube is for free. No one would charge you to go to YouTube. I think it's a joke that there's a YouTube premium, that you can actually pay to get YouTube premium. And all it really is just getting rid of some commercials and shit, But if if YouTube's free and we can leverage that, then we can create that higher quality content and put it in a place that only the people who pay can get to it. You know what I'm saying? It sounds a little selfish, but the reality is it's just easier for me to make better shit. Okay, let's see. Enough talking about me. My head's not going to fit through the damn door when we're done. Let's see here. We talked about the Glock guy. Let's see here. We talked about all the shout outs. Let's see. Let's finish up with the YouTube stuff. So I don't know if you guys pay attention to Southern Pepper One. He's pretty much the he got the hit piece today. So he's been popping in where he walks up and down his road. I don't know. It's kind of reminiscent of me walking up and down my road. I don't know if that's why he's doing it now. Don't care. But he's talking about basically, danger. The entire Pacific Soviet submarine force has now been activated in this has been confirmed by satellite imagery. And it's like, okay, so, I basically, to me, that doesn't bother me. And it doesn't bother me because I'll tell you exactly what I said. I said, I'm a child of the Cold War. We live through that every day. And on active duty, I earned my Cold War congressional certificate, because we basically were part of the Cold War during that time, my time in the military. So it's pretty much looking for the meh button, It's like, whatever. So I got this reply. Hold on a second. I don't know if I still have it up or not. I got this reply from, hold on a second. Hold on. I wish you guys could see this, but once again, I'm using my phone. So, I actually started the conversation. It says, it started 3 weeks ago, ? And I asked him if he was chasing clicks. And so Little Red Hen, whoever the hell that is, they started doing drills and moving assets closer to the border 3 weeks ago. The entire fleet being out is new. No need to be a dick. So I just replied that I was, I'm a child of the Cold War, the same shit that I just told you a second. I was looking for the meh emoji. And then the reply was, so that entitles you to be a dick? No, bring it. And I'm like, whatever. So I just kind of laugh and it says, it's called Discourse. You guys know, if you guys are new to the channel, I'm huge on Discourse. We can have a conversation, we can disagree, and we can still be friends. And two, it's the internet. So move along, little girl. Anyway, so I haven't heard anything from her, but I thought you guys would get a kick out of that. Let's see here. And then if you don't know it, then my prep is, I feel like every time I say this to you guys, I feel like we're in like an AA meeting. It's like I'm local and I'm a prepper, you know. So my prep is the thing that I prep for the most is the economic collapse. Um, so some information came out yesterday, and it kind of got like buried a little bit, and it wasn't anything serious. It's not inside sources or anything, but it's just you have to, in order to pay attention to the market, you have to read a lot of stuff that's market related. And a lot of people don't do it unless one, they have money in the market and they want to make sure they don't lose their money, or two, they're interested in it. And I'm semi-interested in it, but there are certain people that I follow. Now, one of them is a guy named Harry Dent. Now, he is kind of saying, he predicted a crash last year in July, and it didn't happen. And the reason it didn't happen is because he could not foresee the Fed changing their rules. And that ended up doing like this little bitty micro crash. I don't know if you've ever seen these charts before, but they don't, we expect bam, we think of that as a crash. Well, what it'll do is it'll start off here at this value and then go up and then go to, and that's what it's been doing since 2008. It's actually a pretty serious problem. Now, Harry Dent, he also predicted the Japanese bubble bust in 1989 to a T. He also predicted the dot-com crash. And believe it or not, he actually predicted the populist Trump surge. He actually predicted that Trump would be the president based on the surge. Now, in his mind, what he's expecting is in the December timeframe. Of course, there's no way to guarantee this unless one thing happens. And after I go through a series of things, we'll cover that one thing. That there would be basically a 50% adjustment in the market. So essentially a crash. And the reason those numbers work that way is because currently everything in the stock market is about 50% overvalued. Yeah, Peter, the ninja is the shit. He's been doing some weird shit lately. I don't know what he's up to, but he was talking about wood the other day coming back up. Anyway, so he's talking about a 50% correction in the month of December. He's not saying before or after Christmas. He's not saying any of that stuff, but he is talking about it. And then he basically says that when that correction happens, that it's going to another 30% is going to drop again, and it's going to happen because the impact of rising interest rates. Now, that all sounds crazy if you don't follow economics. I mean, it's so convoluted and tricky. But basically, what it means is that when the crash comes, another 30% will turn it into an 80% crash, which is huge for the world. Is it going back to the dark ages? No. But a lot of people are going to lose a lot of damn money, and it's going to have ripple effects throughout the economy. Where are we at here? Basically, we're debt bloated. And it's really bad. People are buying houses that can't afford houses. Remember, this happened before. And they keep trying to throw stimulus on top of stimulus on top of stimulus. And his analogy is that you can't give a crackhead more crack. It's time for rehab. In 2008, what should have happened is they should have remember Too Big to Fail? They should have let GM declare bankruptcy. They should have let things crash and then fix itself from there. But they didn't do that. They just kept feeding it money. And basically, they're estimating that 24% of U.S. companies are barely hanging on right now. They're due for bankruptcy. We're currently looking at either the biggest recession or the biggest depression the U.S. has ever seen. And I don't want to talk like I'm like fear-mongering you guys. This is just information so that you can figure out what you want to do. I don't want everybody freaking out saying, now I can't buy Christmas presents for my grandchildren because I have to buy silver. That is not what I'm telling you. I did not say that. Basically, you guys may have heard the term zombie companies. They're starting to come back. They're starting to notice these 21% of companies in the United States. They're calling them zombie companies because they exist and because they keep getting fed money. But if they stop feeding them money, they'll all die. And then that's a huge part of the market, they're looking at massive losses. Now, here's what's going to spark it. What's going to spark it is high interest rates. If they raise the interest rates, they talked about raising it to 1%, and 1.5% is considered to be the tipping point. They're talking about raising those rates to 3 or 3.5%. Can't say when, can't say how. There's a lot of speculation on the subject. But if that were to happen, based on our current economic situation, it would cause a market crash, and then we would feel those ripple effects. Let's see here. Inherit the Earth. It says SP1 is the real thing, like pinball, but not as polished. I've been watching SP1 for 10 years. Yeah, I just don't. The only thing I have a problem with SP1 is he likes to talk out of his ass. You could say he's the real deal all day long, but then again, who's the real deal? What is a real prepper? I mean, come on. I mean, are you not a prepper if you're not a homesteader? Is that what it is? Are you not a prepper if you don't own the 4 different types of firearms that preppers are supposed to have? Are you not a prepper because your water purification is not a Berkey? Saying somebody is the real deal, that's a misnomer, my friend. And I'm sorry to say that to you, but we can't put people in boxes. You're either a prepper or you're not a prepper. Saying that somebody is the real deal, hey, it's what you believe, I guess. I don't like somebody who puts the appearance out that they are, and then when you watch what happens or you listen to what they say, they aren't. Being polished, that doesn't work. That doesn't work for me. Because you know what? There's guys that are polished that I don't believe are frickin' preppers. I don't believe Magic. I believe Magic is a prepper when his camera's on. I believe Magic is a prepper when he has a deal or something to sell. That's who I believe is not the real deal. But once again, that's my opinion. That's just opinion. It's like everybody's got an asshole and they all stink, that kind of thing. But to each their own. To each their own. Let's see. Oh, Window Licker showed up. What's up, man? I'm prepping for off-grid to get away from the slavery system. Yeah. Well, I mean, aren't we all? I like Mike Maloney and Peter Schiff. I don't know who Peter Schiff is, but Maloney's not bad. Let's see. Peter says, I'm actually buying grandkids camping stuff, not knowing it's prepping items. Oh yeah, that's like somebody asked me yesterday. Should I have a bug out bag for my kid? It's like, absolutely, man. Make them carry their own stuff to an extent based on their age and their body size. Obviously you'd have to carry the rest of it. Where are we at here? Let's see. Window Licker. People say get out of debt, but some people take their credit and make assets out of it. Use the money to make your money change into assets. Yeah, there's some truth to that. There's some truth to that. Now, I've recently just started to get into Bitcoin and Ethereum and figuring out how it's just a big gambling day and buying in the drop, and things like that. And if you could use a credit card for that, then you could actually, you're robbing Peter to pay Paul, but the end is that you get money. You would have money at the end of it. You know what I'm saying? When you put that back on the credit card, you still have whatever you earned. And then from there you can do that. That does work. But I've done the thing. There was a time during the Obama years where I was so sure that something was going to happen that I was like $30,000 in debt, buying up as much freeze-dried food and bullets and guns and putting up it was crazy. Lots and lots of money into debt. Thankfully, I was able to get out from underneath that and am debt-free now. Well, I basically have a little bit of debt, but it's nothing like it was before. Let's see. Peter says, I'm a prepper until I need to become a Viking. Yeah. I'm actually one of those people who was pretty lucky. I actually was able to track my lineage back to the Vikings who took France. Let's see. Well, not took France, but basically, yeah, they pushed through France and into England. Let's see. Inherit the Earth says Maniac is a panhandler. I don't know who Maniac is. Who's Maniac? Are you referencing Magic? He's definitely a panhandler. I need to show that to you. Give me 1 second, Inherit. I don't know why. I guess Maniac is a triggering word for YouTube. Let's see. Emily says, "Hey, Emily, I follow Jim Rickards. Yeah, okay. I prep solar, ham radio, and satcom. Yeah, somebody was in here yesterday that said that they actually had they had bought a sat phone, and the question was, okay, who are you going to call when it all goes down? That's a deficiency on my side. Is I use the Garmin communicators, and I need to program all of my friends' addresses into that so that I will be able to communicate with them via their communicators. Let's see. Paul says, I used to watch a lot of Chris Duane's videos on silver, but it seems to have lost its mind. It hasn't posted in several months. Yeah, they do that. Sometimes it's like they come out of nowhere and they go, January 24th, we're all going to die, and here's why. And there's the big hype up in building money, you're somehow sending this guy money some way, and then January 12th comes by and then it's crickets. They disappear. But I don't know if that's the case. That's just my observation. What do we got here? Mosaic Master 1. Hey, yeah, I remember you from today, man. Never confuse liabilities with assets. Yeah, absolutely true. Window Liquor. Yeah, crypto seems like you're at the casino, but in your car or home. Yeah, exactly. It's on your phone. You can just throw money away on your phone now. It's the best. Let's see here. Inherit confirmed. The Digital Prepper. Hey man, did you get my email? Do you read your damn email, Digital Prepper? If not, let me know. I was asking for your opinion on something. But it is good to see you, man. It is good to see you. Let's see here. Peter says, that was me, and sat phones are programmable. Well, that's good. That's good to know. Most phones are programmable. Hey, how much did your sat phone cost, by the way? And which satellite network is it on? I'm kind of curious. Let's see here. Y2K. I know, right? I remember that shit. People were freaking out. The government was losing their damn minds because they didn't have 2 extra zeros in the date. Let's see here. Inherit says, pirate the decommissioned Navy satellites with walkie-talkies. I got you. That's pretty interesting. We might have to talk on the side, Inherit. That's a pretty inventive idea. Digital Prepper says, yeah, I saw it. XD just responded. Holidays were care. Whatever, you slacker. I'll get back to you, man, probably after this stream. Okay, let's see. So, according to Harry Dent, we're all going to die in the month of December, which is only in a few days. So, pack your bug out bags, your flotation devices, your tinfoil hats, and your purple tennis shoes, I guess. I don't know what else to pack. Okay, so let's see. That's enough of the craziness. And let's see here. So the other things that I had queued up here were, let's see, making a reconnaissance of your area before an SHTF situation. And a lot of people just don't think about it, the first property that I bought, I just thought I had everything. It was the greatest thing since sliced bread. I was close to 2 different water sources. I had a well. I had a pump. I could see down my driveway for 200 yards. Everything is hunky-dory, But I never got around to getting out and going and walking in the woods that were behind. I just kind of looked, pulled up Google Earth and saw where stuff was. So I had an idea. but I never really did like the reconnaissance of the surrounding area of my property. From the tactical level, just finding where microterrain is, where points of observation, both audio and visual, could be, trees that could be knocked down to block roads. I mean, just the dumbest things. And I really didn't have a plan. I just had the property, and it took me a long time to figure those things out. So I figured I'd talk about them a little bit here. And it all comes down to some very simple stuff. Okay. And you know what? I'm covering the chat. I can't see that. Let me move that real quick now that I'm looking at something else. There we go. Okay. For communications, I got 2 cans of a string. We've been over this window liquor that only works in your house. Let's see. I got my rice and beans ready. Well, you better buy some spices. Let's see. How can we start this? Some quick examples of how some questions and answers that will further help you make an action plan. Okay, some simple questions like, is bugging in an option or a priority for your family? That's a simple question. Because if it's not, then there's no reason to do a detailed reconnaissance analysis of your property or your bug out routes or what you're going to do when that happens, because you're just going to leave anyway. Maybe it's a situation where you live in the city and you know you've got to leave. So the only thing you really need to do is make reconnaissance of a couple of routes and note what is there for any assets that may be on the way. Let's see. Are there any changes you'll be forced to move? Are there any changes that will force you to move to a safer location? Once again, it's maybe you live in an apartment and you know that you're going to have to go to grandma's house and grandma lives across town. But is there anything that would change that, maybe force the acceleration of a plan of execution or delay it? Are there any triggers that would cause you to move later or sooner? Those are some things to think about, So do you know the safest route? Because a lot of people just take it for granted. They don't actually do even the simplest map reconnaissance, which is ridiculous because of the accessibility of Google Earth, and throwing down satellite imagery on top of the Google Earth maps just to see where things are, So do you know the safest routes? Well, a lot of times we take the fastest routes, but in a SHTF situation, would those be the safest routes? Those are the questions you should be asking yourself. Let's see, what do we got here? I'm trying to figure out how to say your name properly. Mosaic Master. Mosaic Master. Okay. I'm just going to call you Mosaic because I'm the only one who gets called Master around here. Let's see. Bug out is only reality in the city. Cities are death traps. Absolutely 100% true. I often wonder if that's why they want so many people to live in cities. I don't know. Yeah, some people will see. That's kind of a halfway yes and halfway no question, Mosaic, because sometimes you have to bug out in order to help other people. You know what I'm saying? So you're a divorced father, you're a divorced husband, and your son lives with your ex-wife, and they're 2 towns over, and your plan is to bug in and them to come to you, but something goes wrong and now you have to bug out and go to her. So bugging out isn't just because of the cities, it's just a plan to go someplace else. Window Licker says, I'm bugging in, I'm dropping trees over the roads, trails, etc. They're going to have to fly in. Yeah, I mean, that'll work as long as they don't see you doing it and then like, oh, what's going on back there? What do we got here? Let's see. Peter says, satellite phone store, phone case, solar charger, $200. Plan is $25 a month. Wow, that is pretty awesome. That's a pretty awesome deal. Do me a favor, Peter. Hit my email address. Send me that. Send me that. That a link to wherever you did that. That's very interesting, and maybe I will share it out with everybody else before the end of the stream, because it won't let you put a link inside of it. It's stupid YouTube. And looks like Trini Simple Living. I'm just going to call you Trini. And hi from Trinidad and Tobago. Well, that's beautiful, beautiful there. Never been, but seen lots of shows. Let's see. Mosaic says, I'm from New York City originally. I left the city over 20 years ago. It's a death trap. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let me get my email ready, just in case he does get it to me. I'll be able to share it with you guys. Let's see here. Going back to clickety, click, click, click. There it is. Okay. So let's see. Getting back on point. Let's see. Do you have all of the needed supplies to make this journey? You know, normally when I think about the supplies, obviously we'd have our bug out bag, but things we don't think about every day, like what if you're traveling with somebody who is diabetic and they need to carry insulin? You know, do you have the extra insulin ready? Is there a plan? Is there a checklist before you step off to grab that insulin? You know, because so many times, you know, there should be an actual checklist for shutting your house down, for departing your house, whether it's you're either going to close it up so that you might come back later, or make it so that others can't get in it, you know. But hell, I mean, there's a difference between forgetting your wallet and forgetting your insulin when you're trying to bug out. So things like that are things to think about too. And another question is, are there any delays you should consider, like bridge openings, bridge closings? Another delay could be waiting for somebody to get to your position before you could bug out. Maybe you're waiting, maybe your link up point is the house and you're waiting for the wife and the kids to get home from school and work or whatever it may be. So think about those delays that you may have to consider. Let's see here. Winnie Looker says neighbors are bugging in too because they won't be able to get out. Oh, because you're going to knock all the trees down and they can't leave? Some of them don't know yet. You should probably, well, here we go. Do we tell them or do we not tell them? If you're on the Patreon, you'd know about the article about why so secret. Let's see. Peter says, I'm trying to figure out how to email while on devices. Well, I see an email that just came in. Where are we at here? Of course, ma'am, the press have to stick together. Oh, it's Digital Prepper. That's from when he was being a slacker. What do we got? I'll read that later. Let me close this junk out. Primary. Back up and back to my chat. Come on, chat. There you go. Trying to figure out how to email while on devices. Okay. Well, I mean, if you're talking about that email, Peter, just whenever you get it. I'm very curious. Let's see. Inherit says, I've been poaching whitetail since the early 60s. Oh, don't rat yourself out now. Rose City, Michigan area has large deer herds. I've seen herds of over 200 does in one field. That is awesome. I am very lucky in the area that I am in. We have deer that will just literally walk across the road like, hey, what's going on, man? Hey, oh, I'm going to stop here in the middle of the road and kind of stare at you for a whole minute. They're absolutely ridiculous, and they're everywhere. Big ass deer. So we're kind of lucky here, and it's funny too because it's deer season here, and they still don't give a shit. You would think with all the shooting and everything, they would be just a little bit more skittish, but they are not. Let's see here. Let's see. Mosaic says, for insulin, just carry a cooler with ice and enough water to get where you're going. Food not necessary. Yeah, I mean, what if you're on a 3-day trip, bro? You know, they say that's the longest you're supposed to That's the furthest distance that's logical and realistic for you to bug out either by foot or by vehicles is 3 days. Now, what I can tell you, I ran across this little, very, very interesting. I almost bought it, but I'm saving money for something else. And it was like $26 for this little miniature refrigerator. It's amazing because it's literally this big. It's bigger than a 6-pack of soda. I can say that because I saw that and I wasn't impressed. But what was really interesting about it is you can plug it into your cigarette lighter. Yeah, a refrigerator that you can plug into your cigarette lighter, and it doesn't cost your arm and third kidney, you know. Yeah, you don't have 3 kidneys? Interesting. Let's see, insulin, just carry, okay, we talked about that. Window Liquor laughed. Paul says dry ice. Paul, do you have a dry ice factory in your car or at home? Maybe. Do you make dry ices? Or do you know how to chemically make dry ice? Now, that would be interesting. That would absolutely be interesting. If somebody here is smart enough who knows how to make dry ice without a machine, just using chemicals, I want to know, because I want that formula, and I'm going to buy those chemicals so that I can make dry ice and never have to worry about that crap ever again. I mean, dry ice, basically, as long as it doesn't evaporate, it stays cold. So if you get yourself one of those kick-ass little coolers, that dry ice could keep stuff cold like for a long damn time. Let's see here. Window Liquor says you could have some dry ice packs you break like, oh, excuse me, on a sports team. Yeah, exactly. You could do that, but the problem is that's a one-time use, and those things don't last very long, to be honest with you. Food is not necessary for 3 days. Just carry some snacks if necessary. Water needs for 3 days. Yeah, and pack light and freeze at night. But I'm not doing that. My bug out bag has 3 days worth of food in it, and it'll get lighter every time I eat. What do we got here? Window Liquor says keep a box of them on hand. A box of what? Oh, those little ice packs that you crack them and they make chemical ice, or they make things cold. Yeah, I mean, sure, it's a great idea. Don't get me wrong. That's not what I'm saying. I'm simply saying is that that's field expedience. That's something that it's kind of like have to do. I would rather do something that's like a need to do, something that's better. Like I want to know how to make. You know what? I'm Googling it right now just so I can look at it later. How to make dry ice. There we go. Oh my God. How to make dry ice at home. There's a frickin' video. I'll be watching that later. Let's see. Mosaic says, I'm not freezing. I live on a tropical island. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I think that's great, but we're kind of off point because we were talking about supplies for the journey and insulin. That's where we went with that. Dry ice. Peter says dry ice instructions to make at home online seems pretty basic. I'm telling you, dude, that's going to be, I'm going to read that article when we're done with this, and I may make a video of making dry ice. Because like I said, man, if it's just chemicals, glug, 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 I got dry ice. Yay. Window Liquor says, I'm not diabetic, so I would use the ice packs to keep my beer cold. Priorities, my friend. And yeah, I'll be getting up. We've been going at this for 49 minutes. So when this is finished, I'll be taking an intermission break to get another can. Okay, so getting back on point. Let's see here. So all of the above can easily be answered if you know your region, and I guarantee that you will greatly reduce the chances of unknown factors to catch you off guard. It becomes mandatory for us all to know every detail about our home region and use them to our advantage. Now, here's what you should know about your region during a SHTF situation. The first thing, that reconnaissance of your area, the vegetation. And we talked about this yesterday, and it's actually skills that we all want to have. I don't think I've ever met a prepper that does not want to be able to identify edible things in the forest. Like I tell everybody, the only thing that I guarantee that I can eat are dandelions. You can eat every piece of the dandelion. They're good for you. They provide some nutritional value, and yeah, they're good for you. But we should all take a little bit of time just to find out the edible plants that are in our region. Why? Because sometimes things don't work out. And, I'll be honest with you, it's just the dumbest thing. Maybe you go camping, and maybe during that camping trip, you're able to, teach your kids how to live off land. I think every parent probably would like to do that, would like to be able to teach their kid, hey, you see that little yellow flower? You can eat that yellow flower. Watch that. You want to try it? Here you go. I think every parent would love to be able to do that, What do we got here? Aerosol. Inherent says, aerosol wine coolers work well for instant freeze spray can freezer. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Winderlick says FEMA splits up into 10 zones. Very true. In North Carolina, they have signs all over the place that say, know your zone. Let's see. Bananas here are wild edibles, not kidding. Oh, no, I completely agree. Mosaic, I actually spent my childhood in Hawaii. So I'm very familiar with what you're talking about. Let's see. Inherit says hot pine needle tea for cold winter. Yeah, we're kind of in the survivalist mode at that point, but I think there's probably better things to drink than that. Although it's not bad. Hot pine needle tea is not that bad, especially if you can find yourself some not honey. I mean, if you had honey, it would taste better, but maple syrup right out of the tree, some tree sap. Let's see here. Wild lettuce is good for you and everywhere. If it's in your region, yeah. I don't think there's any wild lettuce that grows around here. But I do know that we have a lot of the wild onions that grow around here. Now, the flip of that coin is poisonous plants. Knowing what plants are not good for you, and knowing what plants, if you did eat, wouldn't just make you sick, but would probably kill you. I think those are important to know as well. I mean, the whole isolation and separation for categorization is pretty simple. If I eat these, they're good. Everything else is bad. But then that doesn't leave room for the third category, which are medicinal plants. Knowing which plants that, are basically the forest's pharmacy, things for headaches or sore throats. And there's even some things out there for blood clotting, so that can help with wounds, knowing those things. But it doesn't do you any good to learn all the things that can do this stuff if those plants are not in your region, which is why you should be focused on that, making that reconnaissance within your region. Don't eat hippie lettuce. It'll make you hungrier. That's very true. Winderlicker, if you have maple trees, buy tap hoses and buckets. I have maple tags. As a prep, I used to make maple syrup. Yeah. I think that's great because, anything that you can get out of the natural environment, 100% all for. I should probably, I think I have some maple in my area. I think it's red maple. I should probably, especially this time of year, I should probably be trying to see if I can get some syrup out of it. Let's see here. Okay, so the next thing in your reconnaissance should probably be the one thing that you'll die if you don't have enough of in your body, and that's water. people constantly ignore the fact that they need that more than anything else on the planet. And it's not just about water purification. It's actually about where is the water. If you've got a well on your property, that's dynamite. But what if you didn't get that well wired so that, and you don't have a manual tap on it? You know, a lot of people do that. They buy these houses, they have wells, and they don't get it wired for an alternate power source, and then they don't get a mechanical tap on it, so that when the power goes out, they have no access to that water whatsoever. So you actually have to start thinking about, where would I get my water if a situation like that happened? And you know, there's a lot of variables to it that people don't really think about. You know, some of the simplest are, like, let's say there's a lake, and everybody is going to that lake, and now mysteriously there's a band of hooligans that have decided that the lake is theirs, and now are going to start charging everybody something to get the lake water. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe there's just the wrong people there, and now the smart thing to do is to wait until they leave to get your water. Or maybe an even smarter thing is to find an even smaller water source someplace else and get your water there without people knowing about it. So we need to think about those things too when we start talking about the reconnaissance of our area. You know, what do we got here? Let's see. Window Liquor says syrup also heated at the right temperature and cooled gets hard like glue. Very true. You can make arrowheads with it. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of smart. You know, it's kind of like the ice bullet. No, what happened? I shot him with an ice bullet. Paul says, man, just throw a jar of peanut butter and some beef jerky in your bag and haul ass. You'll be all right for 3 days. Paul, are you a long distance hiker? Are you hiker trash, Paul? Because that's something hiker trash would say. And if you are hiker trash, you know exactly what I'm talking about. What do we got here? Window Liquor says, not syrup, but tree sap. Sorry. Yeah, that's cool. Don't worry about it. Let's see. All right, so we talked about water. The next thing is animals. This is actually, so one of the things that a lot of people always talk about, and I was very lucky. I actually got to go to a man tracker course in Borneo, and you learn a lot of crazy things. But the one thing you learn when you're going through a course like that is that you don't know squat. You know nothing about the subject you're about to embark on. And so one of the things that I learned is that you have to know the animals in your area. For instance, in my area, I have lots of deer, I have squirrels, I have some rabbit, but not a lot. We have possum, we have raccoon, and we have a few snakes from time to time. But basically, that's it. We have turkey. We have some turkey, we have quail, and we have lots of duck, and we have lots of Canada geese. But as far as predators, none. There's like no predators in the area that I live in. So it's pretty awesome. But some of the simplest things that we can do is to learn, one, what those animals are in our area for either eating or watching out for. Or possibly even catching. I mean, technically, if you can get your hands on some of them Canada geese, you know, you can get them to stick around. It's not too difficult to do. And the next thing you know, they're making eggs for you. And, you know, yeah. Anyway, so one of the things that I did was when I started looking at the animals that were in my area it was always about it's like they see you and you don't see them, but the way you spot them is not by physically seeing them, it's by seeing their tracks. And so what I would do is I carried a little reference card that I laminated that shows what their little tracks look like, and underneath each one of the little tracks was actually the dimensions of the tracks. Maybe it's like 2 by 3 inches or 1 by 2 inches. You know, for instance, a bear paw it's pretty descript, but they're normally about 6 by 10. Obviously they're going to be the biggest ones you're going to find, but a raccoon's paw is basically 3 inches by 3 inches. And it actually almost looks like a little hand in the ground, but things like that. And then in our lives that we live today, we don't think about this stuff unless we live in the woods and see it every day. So having that little reference card absolutely is a game changer, and there's no reason why it can't be in your bug out bag. Absolutely no reason why it can't be in your bug out bag, or inside your jacket pocket. Or I've actually seen guys that have those in the teams. They'll wear the same things that like the quarterback wears on their arm, and then they can like see what the plays are. I've seen guys actually put stuff in there where they can open it up and see that, or maybe it's in a map case, or it's someplace is the point. Because unless you do it every day, you're not going to memorize, what a certain set of tracks look like. Let's see here. Let me go to the chat real quick. So peanut butter, no syrup. Okay, so Mosaic says 12-volt pumps work great and use very little power. My home runs on two 12-volt pumps. I run 100% on rainwater. That's awesome, Mosaic. That's absolutely awesome. I wish where I lived, I could get 100% off grid, but the area, basically this falls now into, legal jurisdictions where, you can't dwell in a structure that does not have power. It's considered condemned if it doesn't have power. It's not livable. Let's see here. Paul Taylor, I told you last night, man, I was a former 0311, and yes, I do like long hikes out in Montana. Just did one this past summer with my Alice pack. You hiker trash. Let's see. Inherent says 40 by 40 tarp with some paracord to collect rain or morning dew. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's a great idea. 40 by 40? That thing's huge. But yeah, that's the way to catch a little water. How much, if you've used that technique before, Inherent, with morning dew, how much do you think you can get out of that? Now I'm kind of curious. Rain-wise, when it starts to rain 40 by 40, you're going to get as much water as you can. Every bottle will be full. Let's see here. Naked and afraid inanimate. True. Know your area. And here it says cheap trail cams in bug out bag. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. For hunting, I don't understand why I would want to. If I'm bugging out, I don't know why I need a trail cam, because I'm not coming back that way. But maybe there's something that I'm missing there, some kind of logic that you're throwing out that I'm not picking up, which happens a lot. Let's see. Linda Lecker says we had a ton of tree rats we could eat if we had to. Yeah. I've found that the most, and I guess you're talking about squirrels. These little towns that I drive through, these things are everywhere. You pretty much can just look on any telephone pole, and there's a damn big old fat squirrel up there screaming at you. Let's see here. Mosaic says my home is a hybrid. I use grid power when welding. I got you. Yeah, it sounds awesome, man. It sounds awesome. But yeah, go if know the animals in your area, go to Google, whatever, and find yourself a high resolution picture of what the paws or tracks are supposed to look like for the animals that are in your area. Print, laminate, pack. You're done. It's that easy. Let's see here. Let's see. Morning dew in Michigan, springtime full day plus water from dew. I was curious about the amount that you get, like in, I don't know, in quarts or liters or ounces. How much water morning dew could you get with a 40-foot tarp? That's the question. Let's see here. Oh, let's see here. Building materials. If you had to build something, what kind of trees do you have? Can you turn them into lumber? Are some of them already fell? Are there stones near a stream that you could use to make a fireplace with? Things like that. See if there's any building materials. If you're living in an urban area, Hey, maybe there's a factory down the road and they have pallets that are just stacked to the roof. There's a lot of places that are like that. Another thing is weather patterns. Weather patterns are actually pretty important because, when I was growing up in Hawaii during the wintertime, it was guaranteed it was going to rain from like 4 in the morning until 7 in the morning, and it would stop, flat out sun, until right around 11 o'clock, and then it would rain for an hour between 11 and 12, nothing but sun. And then it would be sunny all day long until around 5 o'clock, and then it would rain for an hour and then stop. And it is like clockwork every single day during the wintertime. So knowing your weather patterns is actually pretty important. Another piece of that too is knowing where your flood zones are, because you may be in an area that you think, hey, I got this whole thing laid out. But if you don't know that you get a good hard rain and now the way you were going to go is flooded out, it could be a problem. You might want to look at that, historical flooding. What do we got here? Let's see. Window Liquor says, I think tapping is going to be effective because you're going to be busy doing other things, save you some time. Oh yeah. Hey, listen, man. Like I said, you got my attention. I need to find out if I've got any maple trees out here, and like I said, I think I do. And there's no reason for me not to put some taps in there and get some free syrup. You know what I'm saying? There's no reason not to. I'm on it. Inherent says, I've seen 1 gallon plus in high humidity from dew. Okay, cool, man. I was wondering because it's such a huge tarp. I know we used to do the same thing with our, damn it. I'm losing my mind. Our ponchos. We would do the same thing as catch morning dew or catch rainwater in our ponchos. Let's see here. Mosaic says, hunting wouldn't be sustainable unless you're catching rodents that are abundant, raising animals, guaranteed food. Yeah, very true. Very true. The one of the things that I plan on getting into is raising rabbits. One, because they're delicious, and two, because they make themselves really easily, and three, you do not have to process their pellets, and you can use them as instant fertilizer. Yeah. And if you kill enough of them, you can basically make some hats and some socks. You could make some gloves, things like that. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Let's see here. Another thing to think about too is population. Population density is a big problem, and also neighborhood problems too. If you live someplace where where crime is happening, if you live someplace where the people that live in your neighborhood are not the greatest people in the world, then basically take that and put that on, basically amplify that by 1,000 in an SHTF situation. They're going to be the people that are going to be causing problems for you. They're going to be the people that are going to be causing problems for everybody. They're going to be the people that are most likely to cause situations that no one wants to be involved in. So think about the population that is around you too. Let's see here. Some of the bug out routines. One of the things is, there's some basic factors when bugging out on foot, because a lot of people, when they say bug out, that's instantly what they think of. They think of you walking down the road, the lone warrior trying to get home, or whatever it is. There's 3 basic questions to bugging out. It says, what are you carrying with you? Where are you going? And how are you getting there? Those are the only 3 questions that actually matter. Everything else is causatory. Everything else is situational. Everything else is reactionary. Hey, Thorn, what's going on, man? Good to see you. And if you focus on those 3 things, what are you carrying, where are you going, and how are you getting there, then you're going to be okay, because then you can actually appropriately plan for bugging out. Let's see. Mosaic says, get chickens as well. You can go through starvation just eating rabbit. Rabbit meat is really lean with little fat content. Oh, yeah, no, we've got the chickens already. We're good to go. We're good to go. It's absolutely amazing. The amount of eggs that we're making for the amount of hens that we have. Um, I mean, we are making what we need to be making right now. We're nothing more, and it's wintertime too. So when the summer comes, it's going to get even worse. And then we might actually make a few chickens ourselves. I'm waiting for that chat to pop up. I saw it there. It's going to pop up here. All right. KY, Kentucky, late again. Just got off work. So that means you're driving, right? Let's see. Inherit says use thermal. You can camo from human eyes. You can camo from infrared. You can't camo from thermal. Yeah, that's very true. But you got to kind of look at it this way. Technology is a thing. There are units out there used to say they own the night until someone else owned the night. You can hide from thermal, but it's really difficult. And the reality is that the amount of money that it costs to use thermal devices, it far exceeds what normal preppers would spend money on. It's a nice to have, not a need to have, and very few people wake up in the morning and go, I really need a thermal scope for my rifle. Very few people do that. So let's see. I got off at 7, just got home. Gotcha, bro. Let's see. Thorn says, bug out fail that I see often done is evacuating by car and getting stuck in traffic during severe weather emergency. Absolutely. That's what we were just talking about earlier, was knowing the weather patterns in your area and how you might actually get washed out if you're inside of a flood zone that you didn't know about while you were trying to bug out. Let's see. I took my thermal camera into the woods, could not see past the tree leaves. Yeah, it's thermal. Thermal is tricky. Thermal is not what most people think it is. And everything, there's either light or there's not. It's either thermal reactive or thermal reflective. And there are also variables to how thermals work that a lot of people don't know about. They just anticipate that they are going to open it and it's going to be white on black predator view. And also a lot of thermal imagery now is not very powerful on the civilian side because it's how do I say this? It takes a lot of energy to have powerful thermal imagery, and the power capabilities are not on the civilian side as well designed or highly available as they are on the military side. Let's see here. That practical answer just got you a new subscriber. Oh, thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Let's see here. I show up late and miss all the good stuff. Nah, we're good to go, Thorn. We're closing up on this particular subject, but I still have another 45 minutes, and I have another subject. I always basically do my research when I do these live streams. I plan to stream for at least 2 hours, and I plan to have 2 subjects that could easily cover the 1 hour. That way I always have 2 things to talk about. And then obviously, we answer the questions. That eats some time. And then there's always the, hey, what happened in YouTube world today, because I don't really play the politics game anymore. Politics will eat your life. It will totally eat your life. And believe me, I watch a lot of it, but I try not to bring it into this cubicle that you guys are in. I try not to bring it in there. Let's see. Inherit says $400 thermal is cheap but amazing. Absolutely. Like I said, the technology is there, but I've used thermal devices that make, add a couple $1,000s to that price tag, and you can have a thermal device that is the kind that is used in the military, and you will see such a dramatic difference in what you're seeing, because it's all energy based is what it comes down to. The thermal devices that you see on the civilian market are all based off of electronic cooling. the military uses chemical cooling, and they can make, the cooler they can make their devices, the richer their images are going to be. Well, let's see. KY says, Mosaic, this is absolutely one of the best channels on YouTube. Thank you, KY. Thank you, Kentucky. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. Inherit. Tell your friends. Tell your friends. Let's see. And if you guys aren't part of my Patreon, screw you. Give me your money. Give me your $3 so I can give you some good shit. Let's see here. Okay, so 2 last points I want to make when we're talking about the whole knowing your reconnaissance area and whether you would be able to bug out or not based off of that reconnaissance are actually pretty simple. Footwear, footwear, footwear. Don't cheap out on a crap pair of Walmart boots. You know what I'm saying? If you're wearing a pair of shoes that are worn in and you're comfortable and you've actually like spent some miles in those shoes, then you're probably okay. Also, don't put a brand new pair of boots that are, or shoes that are not broken in as part of your bug out gear, because all you're going to do is get a mile down the road and have nothing but blisters. Make sure that the shoes are comfortable, make sure that they're durable, make sure there's something that you're going to get some use out of, and they're not going to fall apart, and they're not going to chew your feet up. That's the last thing you want is to damage your feet when you're trying to bug out, if you're on foot anyway. And the last thing is be in good physical condition. I mean, as best as you can. I'm not saying go out and go like super athletic crazy. Everybody is different. And yes, a good pair of socks. I recommend hiking socks. Go on the REI website, look at their actual hiking socks. Believe it or not, they make a huge difference. And anyway, being in good physical condition, if you've never tried to carry your bag in the field for a few miles, you're going to have a bad time when the shit hits the fan. So use your gear. Be in good condition and use your gear. And you can turn it into a workout. Put your pack on and freaking walk down the damn road. Do what I do. I have my generic plate carrier that looks like a workout vest, and then I'll go for a walk or a run and just do that. But the bottom line is put good food in your body, take care of your body, treat it like a castle and not a dumpster. You know what I'm saying? And put some miles on your body. I know if you're working, that's probably how you're staying skinny is you're working. But you could probably do like one little tweak in your life to make yourself a little bit better. Stay healthy. Okay, let's see here. Socks and underwear here are sleeping bags. I got you. I'm sensing a joke in there because you said laugh out loud at the end of it. But to each their own. Some people don't wear underwear. I'm not getting it, Mosaic, but I'm going to go and laugh with you because you're my friend. Okay, so I'm going to go freshen this up real quick, and I'll be back in like the amount of time that it takes me to find a can, crack it, and pour it in here. Everybody else, piss break. I'll be right back. It's not that hot. Oh, that's right. Because you're in the tropics. Oh. All right. That's right. Yeah, it took me a second, Mosaic, to figure out what you're talking about. with the, it's not that hot. Yeah, you don't really need a sleeping bag. You probably don't need socks. You're probably flip-flopping it all over the place. If it takes over 3 minutes, he's taking a sheet. No, we're good. We're good. Looks like somebody ran off, but that's okay. All right, so let's see. I ran across this article and I took a bunch of notes on it. And basically, it's talking about in a disaster, who survives. And what the scientists figured out was he figured out that the people who survive in disasters, they're the people that are most likely to come through would normally be they're high school educated, they're married, they're like the church-going yoga instructor that has a gun. And that all sounds kind of weird, but it all comes down to the type of person versus the people who just buy a bunch of shit and put it in a closet. And I think that kind of exemplifies preppers in general, because unfortunately, you are either that person who just buys stuff and puts it in a closet, or you're the person who buys the stuff and actually uses it. Just because your food has a shelf life of 25 years doesn't mean you don't take it out once every 6 months and check it. What are you saying in here? Move slowly. A moving target catches the eye. A mile a day is too fast when you're trying to evade. Bugging out is not hiking. For your health, people will be trying to kill you. All right, yeah, that's a possibility. That's a possibility. I think, once again, that's situational too. It's like, if your bug out triggers go off fast enough, then you never really get to that point. Let's see here. So instead of looking at what people do to survive disasters, he started looking at what kinds of people do better than others in a disaster. What he found was something he could actually categorize people, and these are the people that would survive disasters. So the first thing was healthy. People that ate right, that exercised, they had a real advantage over other people. In its simplest form, whether you're running away from an active shooter or you're fighting off the flu, your odds are better if you're not overweight or out of shape. I mean, it's very logical. Health has a lot to do with survivability. It's if you're sickly, you're going to die. It's that easy. Or you're going to die sooner than people who are healthy. Let's see here. Thorn Inherent the Earth. Ever watch Manhunter TV series? Yeah, that's not a bad show. Let's see. You know what I think I want to do one day? I want to have one of those, like, watch a movie with a local prepper, and then we can just watch a movie and then pause. When somebody says something or when I see something, it's just, unfortunately, I ruin a lot of movies because I keep forgetting that movies are for entertainment. And I was like, that's bullshit, and that's bullshit, and this is what I would do, and that's how this really works. And, you violated SOP, you son of a bitch, But let's see. But yeah, back on point. Healthy people have a significant advantage over unhealthy people in survival situations. It's just that easy. There's no way around it. The next thing that what they discovered is that families or married people, they stay together. They reap all sorts of long-term benefits together, and they're more likely to care about their communities. And this makes them better prepared for success in normal times as well as in disasters. It just makes sense. You have a family group. At the minimum, you have a wife and husband. Now you have a small team, that wants to stick together, that wants to survive. So it's going to give them more of a strength than your average single person just trying to figure out what the hell is going on. Let's see here. No, Thorne, I haven't. Let's see. Okay, so the next thing is education. Now, they said that education people make better risk information decisions about what behaviors and strategies to adopt to thrive and survive. They don't, for example, try to self-medicate with fish cleaner. And that was making a reference to antibiotics that you can buy at the fish store, which I do recommend people buy them off of Amazon, get the appropriate dosage, do the science. Get the math and follow the science, make a cheat card, put it in your box of medicine, and you'll have antibiotics. Anyway, so with the you don't need to get a degree to be educated any more than getting a degree means that you are educated. We probably all know highly educated, multi-degree academia idiots. We probably know at least one in our lives. I ran across many of them during my time in the military. They always thought they knew more than everybody else, and they never did. And so a piece of paper doesn't really mean anything, but an education does. It depends on what you're educated in, obviously. So all you really need is a solid understanding of fundamentals. The simplest things like washing your hands to prevent spreading of diseases. And those are the kind of people that are going to survive better than people with PhDs. Let's see. Kentucky says, well, I'm screwed. I'm overweight, old, lung condition, but I'll go down fighting. Hey, dude, that's why they teach people to shoot from laying on their backs. You'll be okay. You'll be okay. Let's see. So self-learners adapt quicker. To an extent, the problem with self-learners adapting is that they normally have to go through something first before they learn. And in a SHTF situation, the learning curve is really steep. So learning ahead of time is always the best way to do it. Get educated. Well, let's see here. Here it says the only food in my bug out bag, he says hangout bag, but I know what you meant. Bug out bag is a bacon pieces. A man can march a long way on a handful of bacon and a vitamin. Somewhat true. But I'm more of the person who wants to thrive and not survive, because I know how to survive. And surviving sucks. I don't care how hard you are. Surviving sucks. Thriving is fun. Let's see here. Thorne says, I have met more than my share of well-educated idiots. There you go. They're everywhere. Okay, so another one is, believe it or not, faith. Now, I'm not a religious person. But I also believe that everybody has the right to be as religious as they want. And anybody who says otherwise, well, let's find a way to give them a bad day. But anyway, so research shows that people of faith can achieve better outcomes in dire situations. They can deal better with stress. This alone provides physical benefits like boosting your immune system. Moreover, religious people often belong to groups and communities that help support and take care of one another and their neighbors. This is very true. The church socials, the raffles, the pig pickings, the Saturday events, it's all about the community, and that people that are part of a community tend to survive, where people who are not, the odds are against them. Let's see here. The last thing is get a gun. Good disaster preparedness ought to include some measure of safeguarding your family. Owning a gun and educating yourself about gun safety is a practical, responsible way to do that. Moreover, people are less stressed when they are confident they can do something to ensure the safety of themselves and their families. This kind of goes back to that stress video that I made about repetition builds confidence and confidence relieves stress. So taking the approach of disaster preparedness can make disaster-free days even better. These measures help us to be happier, more productive, and more capable, and include the strengthening of our communities. So that was actually a pretty simple little diatribe that I just threw out there on who's going to survive. The takeaways are actually pretty simple. Most advice on how to prepare for a disaster, it's normally wrong. It's normally wrong. And then what makes some more resilient in the modern world? Few will trap or kill their dinners or grow vegetables amid the rubble of their condos. These are not making any sense. I'm going to stop reading them. I don't know what the hell he was thinking when he wrote that. Let's see. Battlefield pickups. Shake me down. I don't get it. I think Inherit is trying to tell jokes that I'm not getting, but that's okay. Put an LOL after it. That way I know it's a joke. Let's see here. Okay, so that's all my stuff. What do you guys want to talk about tonight? We've got about half an hour, and if we don't come up with anything, then I guess we'll just kill the stream and be done with it. It's been pretty productive. We've had a pretty good time. I'm still waiting for that email about the sat phones. $200 sat phone and $25 a month. Yeah, I'm kind of curious. He's telling more jokes. Search my pockets, take my clips. Come on. Throw something out there. I'm going to give you guys a couple seconds to type it. Otherwise, I'm going to have to kill the stream because I'm not going to waste your time. Okay. Talk about how to produce food in a grid down. Oh my God, really, dude? How to produce food in a grid down situation. Well, I mean, you would have had to already have the food planted months in advance of this grid down scenario. Well, I think you got to start someplace. And it's always going to be with the soil and the seeds. It's always going to be that. Producing soil, anything that you eat, whatever's left over, you can put it in the ground as long as it's not protein based, I believe. Basically, I mean, you could put meat in the soil, but you're just going to start causing all sorts of problems. But pretty much anything that's a vegetable that you don't want to grow again, you can put in the soil. And then as far as the seeds, any type of vegetable that you can get your hands on, that gets a little bit trickier. And here's why. Because normally what will happen, maybe you, me, and a few others. Okay, I think Mosaic's been drinking a little bit too much tonight. The problem with producing food or growing food in a grid down situation is that you have to go back to very old school methods. The biggest problem you're going to have is drying seeds. That's the biggest problem you're going to have, and it's going to take you longer than it would normally take, and it has a lot to do with humidity in the air, temperature of the air, and it's going to take, I mean, it took me 4 weeks to dry inside. It took me 4 weeks to dry my cucumber seeds. And it took almost a week to get the goo off of them. So that's kind of an end of the world thing. And it's actually more of a problem than people can think about. Make sure that you have gas for your tiller. If you have one and a source of water other than public water. Yeah, we would definitely need some kind of fuel storage. Where will the water come from? Well, I mean, I will get mine out of my well, and if I had to, I'll go down the road to the stream. Let's see. Kentucky says, have enough food stocked to last you through growing season, smart, until plants start producing. Supplement with fish and hunting if possible. Excellent point, Kentucky. Excellent. Oh, the unapologetic prepper. Dude, I'm getting ready to turn the stream off, and you freaking decide to show up. You were at the very beginning. You're going to have to go back and watch this video from the very beginning. We were talking about you, just like I told you we would. I'm a big advocate of fruit trees and bushes and other perennials, so much easier. Very true, very true. I don't know if I told everybody, but yeah, my property in North Carolina is loaded with fruit and nut trees. And to this day, I've never seen a nut come off my walnut tree. And my walnut or my pecan tree, and the only fruit trees that bear fruit for me are my pears, and they're the little red pears. Cistern perhaps, or water make it easier, are near seawater. Yeah. I'm looking at right now, because I don't have my well rewired for solar, one of those gravity pumps that you can make out of PVC pipe and the two different valves. That might be what I would be looking at right now. Let's see here. Paul says, I just stocked up on a full rubberized garbage can full of 200 pounds of dry granulated chicken manure fertilizer to have on hand for my raised beds. NPK is 432. Also have chemical fertilizer for backup. Oh, that's good. That's good. And yeah, we love you too, man. Let's see. Hammer a rusty nail in the nut trees. I did not know that, Mosaic. That's a hack. I don't know why it would work, but I'm gonna trust that it does something. Let's see. Thorn, a video of how to make the PVC pump would be cool. Yeah, there's actually a lot of them out there, but yeah, that would be something that I would. I mean, yeah, what the hell? I mean, if I make one, why not video it and show you how bad of a PVC pump maker I am? But it would probably work. It'd probably work. The nice thing about it is that type of pump, it doesn't run on electricity. It just uses gravity, and it will actually pump water uphill for hundreds of meters. It just takes a lot of time. But I mean, if you have this pump that's running, you literally have to turn it off because it's running 24/7, you know? Yeah, okay. I mean, I'll see what I can do. Let me make a note here. How to make a gravity well pump. I think that's what it's called. There it is. Okay. So that's on my to-do list. Let's see. Agree with Thorn. Love to see. Yeah, I mean, what the hell? It's not hard. Let's see. I have no idea why. Okay, I don't know why this YouTube is so messed up. They block this statement by inherent. There you go. $45 walkie-talkie open satellite. Receive channel 255. Okay, transmit channel. Hundreds of them up there. Google search the channels and frequencies. YouTube search 25. Okay. That's pretty interesting. And so I guess in theory, inherit, if we were to do that, I mean, are we literally talking about basically satellite relays? Is that what you're talking about? Try a 12-volt pump. You'd be amazed. I was actually thinking about that and just using a 12-volt sump pump that doesn't have to be prime. It's a self-priming pump. I think that would work too. But I mean, I'm always looking for alternatives, you know. There's so many ways to skin the cat, you know what I'm saying? Brazilians use them for CB radios, okay? I think my uncle has one like that for ham operators. Yeah, inherent. We're gonna have to talk because you're saying some things that actually seem kind of cool. Let's see here. But yeah, Mosaic, definitely. A sump pump, just a 12 volt, just clip it to your battery and it starts going. As long as it's self-priming, we're good, because there's so many times where the wells where I am, they're sealed. So, I really need to look in to see how they put these wells together around on this new property that I'm on. They're solar powered repeaters. So if I'm tracking with you, Inherent, you're talking about using a walkie-talkie and transmitting on a specific frequency, and they're clearly up and down frequencies, and that because they're satellites, and that somehow these satellites are old satellites that are not being used anymore, and anybody who is listening can hear because it's being retransmitted through the satellite network. Because I'm Googling that shit right now. Pirates on U.S. Navy satellites. Huh. Well, that's on my to-do list. I have seen 12 volt well pumps. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's just, listen, to me, the sump pump is like one of the most powerful pumps there is, and they're almost always self-priming, and it's just a matter of getting a hose down to the water, and like you said, man, 12 volts, not a problem. I just like looking at alternatives as all, because it's what happens when the battery died, what happens when you forgot to turn it off, or what I'm saying. It's always the what if scenario where you're like, well, that was a great idea while it worked. Let's see. I use them all the time to talk from Michigan to Arizona. It's pretty interesting. That's some pretty interesting stuff. So is that a ham radio that you're transmitting on, Mosaic? Because it's UHF. Well, it's almost like you think like a real prepper. Oh, you made my day, man. Unapologetic. The ham satellites are a private club, I think, and they store the messages and rebroadcast it on the other side of the world or something like that. Pump water into a cistern with a float valve. Yeah, that'll work too. But you got to pump the water. That's the thing. My big thing is what I always wanted to do with my well in North Carolina is because it used to be, my well pump used to be just plugged into an outlet. And then when I had to replace that, the guy he hardwired it right into a fuse box, one of the old fuse boxes, right? So it's like, son of a bitch, because all I was going to do is just plug it into an inverter and then run my pump. So I was like, what I wanted to do is rewire the whole damn thing, because I have a small solar array there, and that basically turn this off and turn that on, and now my pump works fine. That's the problem with living in the middle of nowhere. When you lose electricity, you can't flush your toilet anymore because your well doesn't work, unless you've been, we also did rainwater, so I would have to carry 5 gallons of damn water in to flush the damn toilet. Let's see here. Okay. Oh, Caps Lockets. War never changes. Hey, welcome to the stream, Caps. I've never seen you before. Thank you for your time. And you got here just as, I don't know, I guess we're still going to go for like 15 minutes. Where we got here? Milk Carrot 1. Can you have a tour of your hat? Can we have a tour of your hat or hats? Yeah, sure. I'm feeling a little naked right now, Milk Carton. Welcome to the channel. Let's see. The first one is, come here, you. This one is a Ducks Unlimited hat. Nafbach Ducks. There you go. It's a duck hunting group. I'm going to have to hang that up later. This is the magical Trump 2020 hat in camouflage. And what do we got here? This is a Primo's hat. It's just an old hunting hat. And now you've seen my collection. Let's see here. Ed, you're welcome, Milk Carton. Thank you for showing up. What do we got? Did you guys like follow? I have a feeling that Caps Lockets, Milk Carton, and Daniel Harrison are all friends because they all like boom, 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 boom. They just piled into the chat. Let's see here. Thoughts on the new pear fragrance? This feels like a joke. This feels like a very tricky joke. I have no thoughts on that particular fragrance that I'm not going to try and pronounce. Well, make sure you all frickin' subscribe then, because you missed all the good stuff. We talked about YouTube telling everybody to be stupid. We talked about disaster and who survives. We talked about how to do the reconnaissance of your particular region. We talked about U.S. markets. We talked about the crash that's coming in December. Let's see here. Inherit the earth. Bots. You can see into my soul. You guys are definitely characters. I will tell you that. And let's see here. Would you consider sacrificing 50 IQ points to enable world peace? No. No. No, I would not. Would you? All right. You make me want to. Can I click on these guys? Where's Caps Locks? Where are we at? Where's Milk Carton 01? I'm curious about Milk Carton 01. Let's see if these are real people or not. YouTube. I am a robot. How would I know? What is humanity really? The sacrifices. You're talking to a bot. Love your jar. I know, it's like it makes you wonder if it is a bot, and clearly they're getting off on this shit. It's like they say never feed the trolls, but these guys aren't really troll. They just seem to be having a lot of fun. If they're real people, it's not a big deal. Let's see. A blue wrench would be handy right now. That's funny. It's not a big deal, man. It's not a big deal. So, Milk Carton, Daniel, and Caps, what's your favorite? What are you guys preparing for? What is your primary prep? Let's see what the bots have to say about that. Beep boop, beep boop. There's Milk Carton. Oh, these guys are characters. Milk Carton has 748 subscribers. Liberal universities be out there trying to make world peace by lowering IQs. Yeah, I mean, they want you to be dumb. They want you to be dumb. We got Farmer Son just shows up. Man, how many YouTubers are going to pop up in my stream? And it's okay, because I don't have a problem with it. My primary prep is the upcoming Rapture. Caps, I'm here to tell you, man, that you can't prep for that. You should probably read your Bible a couple more times. Let's see. Daniel Harrison, you're an Englishman. Okay, I'm prepping for the inevitable war with Scotland over slightly increased. Oh, Jesus. An apologetic prepper says, I have intel, but I can't tell you the high-ranking source. Sources. Hey, Sparky. Yeah, I mean, I heard you say Sparky when I left. I was on Farmer Son's stream this afternoon. Let's see here. Let's see. But yeah, you guys are characters, man. So Milk Carton is a real person. Let's see. I can't. There's no way for me to find Daniel Harrison. I think that's what these guys do. Is they probably just jump into people's streams and have fun. And I think that's cool as long as they're not distracting. Because I used to run another YouTube channel and another fairly large Facebook group, and it's the premise of it was no one gets banned, no one gets muted unless they're a dick. So you can have a lot of fun with stuff. I've been drinking as much silver liquid as possible. I don't know what that is. Which brand shelter would you recommend? I think because you're English, Daniel, we may have a conflict of, we may be separated by a common language. Brand shelter. If you're talking about tent, it doesn't really matter to me. Believe it or not, I don't know if you have Walmarts, but the Chinese stuff they've been copying a lot of very high-end camping gear, and it's just as good as a $200 tent from them is just as good as a $1,000 tent made by another company. Let's see here. Having your humanity question is hurtful. Milk Carton, I'm sure you can handle it. I'm sure you're all grown up. Let's see. Just prep for grid down, and you'll be covering all the bases. Yeah, it's true. I feel the same way about economic preps. That's the only one that's realistic to me, and I think if you prepare for that, then everything else falls after that. If the economy were to completely crash overnight, would you be prepared? Would you be financially ready? Would you have your stores in place? Would you have a plan? And I think all preps kind of come down to that. Let's see here. What do we got here? How do we hide user from this channel? Caps lock. Gotta go, man. You blew it. You blew it. But let's see if your buddies are smart enough to stick around. Boop. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Let's see. So we have a side which is owned by Walmart. Okay, cool. Let's see. Daniel Harrison, that's just propaganda. Well, unfortunately, I had to. Caps went too far. Tell your boy Caps, he went too far. Let's see if you guys stick around. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, so I would, we always have these YouTubers that are like, they practice by turning all the power off in their house. And one of the first ones I ever saw was this guy actually went outside and pulled the breaker and lived over the weekend with his solar, with his Berkey, with food that he had prepared. And I think that 3 days is a good way to find out if you have things in place. Because after the first day, that's the chaos day. The second day is this is boring. The third day is you start to find things to do. You start to realize that you actually really have to work at surviving or maintaining your level to thrive. So I think that that's a good test. But the problem is that nobody ever, and this is going to be, it's kind of wild. Nobody ever practices for an EMP. And I'm not an advocate of preparing for the EMP because, I mean, listen, man, you're talking about the world changing if that were to happen. I think that would be the ultimate prep, the ultimate test right there. No cell phones, no computers, no nothing digital in any way, shape, or form. No, nothing electric in any way. We'd literally be pushed back to the pioneering days. We just happen to have cooler shit, So let's see. I guess Caps didn't prep well. Yes, Daniel, Caps did not prep well enough. Let's see, Milk Carton. What if the apocalypse never happens? Would you be disappointed? No, not at all. That's not really the way prepping works, Milk Carton. And I know that you're just here to have fun. I'm tracking, man. I get it. But that's not really how prepping works. Prepping works in a way that psychologically makes it easier for you to get through things. You become stronger because you're not used to having all these simplicities of life. You know, these conveniences that make your brain weak. For instance, this computer that you're having fun on right now. You know, I mean, I'm going to guess that you're in your 20s, maybe your 30s at the top. Oh, Daniel Harrison, Australian joke maker. I don't think that's you. I think that's somebody else. Anyway, if I were you, I would be out trying to pick up a chick in a bar someplace. You know, I'd be trying to get laid. I'd be, you know, drinking beer with my friends. You know, this is not what I would be doing. So you end up with a completely different mentality on life. And then if something does go wrong, if the apocalypse happens, the apocalypse, that's bullshit, man. Then it doesn't bother you. You know, you're like, okay, that just happened. Time to execute, plan, fuck you world. You know? So that's really what prepping is. Let's see. How many people could you feasibly secure in your shelter? I'd like to save my dogs and crab and eel if possible. Well, listen, let's see. Daniel, bro, you had me at dogs, but then you had to throw the fucking crab in there, and later. Who's left? Who's left? What do we got here? Milk Carton. That's a great video idea, Milk Carton. What was this idea? Never ever would you be disappointed? Oh, I see. Oh, I see, Anna Pollock. You're here to steal video ideas. Ideas are free, man. Hey, I'd be interested in hearing what you had to say about that. Make that video. Make that video. I want to watch it. Just remember, I want a TM next to my name. Let's see here. Inherit pop-up ice fishing shanty for a tent. That's pretty fucking smart. I've got a friend of mine who does has a YouTube channel and a giant Facebook group, and that was his big thing was hot tent capping. He would like snowshoe up into the mountains and drag this tent behind him and set up the hot tent. You know, 2 down, 1 to go. Make it a trifecta. I don't know. What's your definition of winning, Milk Carton? Well, hey, listen, you do have bragging rights. You do have bragging rights between you and your 2 compadres. I'm telling you, you've got bragging rights. Just remember, I want a link. If you've been recording this the whole time, I want a link because I want to watch this shit. Let's see. I got 30 power talkie units on sale for off-grid text and map GPS. That's interesting. I don't know. I've never won before. Well, I mean, you don't say shit like that, Milk Carton, because that would make you a loser, and you're not a loser. You're a wiener. You're the wiener. Yeah, as far as rating, completely satisfied with my Bowfangs. Like I've told people before, hey, listen, if I really wanted to get a license, I would just apply for the GMRS license, and that would be it. And yes, I know Bowfangs still aren't technically legal in GMRS, but I'd be one step to it, you know? And I don't know. Let's see. Bevins Tramwell. Oh, here we go. Hello, I've had a call from President Crawford. He says, very strong bomb coming. Can you help? Yes, Bevins, bend over. The trolls have found our channel. Oh, it's so easy to delete them, though. It's like, whoo, they just pop in and smack down. Let's see. I did love the name, though. Bevan. Hello, I'm Bevan Stramwell. And it has been 2 hours, guys. So I probably should pop off here. But let's see. Outdoor Ally. Hey there, buddy. How's things? Good. Looking at your little icon. Yeah, you're familiar. I think I might have messaged you either today or yesterday. You're a little late. We're literally actually considering shutting down the stream because we have a series of trolls that keep popping in and saying some funny ass shit. What are we? Send them to my channel. I need viewers. YouTube is actually working on the capability, the same capability that they have on Twitch to raid channels. They're calling it something else though, I mean, I think that'll be something that is going to be interesting. If you guys are not familiar with Twitch, I used to be a gamer streamer. Thorn is a gamer streamer, and we could literally I could have 20, 30 people in here. We're just talking, and then what'll happen is it's like, hey guys, I got to go, but we're going to dump you into Thorn's channel, and I push a button, and the little timer goes off, and then boom, you guys all drop into his channel, and then it's like, so if you wanted to keep talking or watching or whatever it was, you would never have to stop. Don't forget our video collab. Yeah, dude, I thought I emailed you back and said, hey man, what do you want to do? I mean, we're like two girls pulling on each other's ponytails, going, no, you tell me. No, you tell me. I don't know. I don't know. What would you like? Hey, okay, we got 6 people in here. Thorn, Unapologetic, you're clearly one. But there's other 5 people. What would you like to see us collaborate on? Pick a subject, and we'll try and do that. Oh shit, everybody's fucking leaving. No, Thorn, you cannot raid on YouTube yet. It's a capability that they're working on. Let's see here. Inherit says ICOM IC7300 fully unlocked with submarine channels. Okay. We need to do a trollathon where we troll the trolls. That's absolutely hilarious. Just drop into their live stream, into the troll live stream, and be like, hey, so what's your prep? Where are we at here? I don't tug on each other. It sounds wrong. December 1st through the 7th, let me know. I'm open. Okay, I'll put some thought into it. I mean, I think it's just with the holidays and some other shit that was going on, I was just a little distracted. But, I mean, I can pretty much talk about anything anybody else can talk about. I don't have the type of property that you do. My stuff is a little bit more suburban, but I'm sure we can come up with something. Let's see. Do basic lessons for newbies to the scene. That sounds dirty. That sounds like you want us to make like a BDSM video or something, you know? But yeah, I mean, that's a possibility. That's a possibility. I think what it is we just need to actually think about it, you know? Something just came through and it's not coming in fast enough. Let's see here. Come on, there we go. Hey man, just the fact that you aren't afraid to speak your mind is huge for this community. Yeah, no worries, dude. I appreciate it. I think that's why you and I are very like-minded. Let's see. Okay, well, I tell you what, we're kind of running out of things to talk about. There's only like 4 people in here, and I think it's about that time. To the trolls that showed up, had a lot of fun with you, and to everybody else, hopefully just stay safe and have a great day. And I'm going to go ahead and get up and push the button now. All right, guys, you have a great night. We'll talk to you again later. Bye-bye.